How are you? I just tried to record by the window and it was so bright. I was like, hi. So I've just had to move. Okay, so I have been shepherded to come and give you this video today. It always seems like on every single day that I actually want to have a break away from my phone, that I am inundated with messages and pokes and prods to do videos and speak to you all. So I do what I'm told. I do my missions to the letter, and I've been asked to. This is probably going to go around the houses a little bit just because of the person that I am and the way that my brain works, but hopefully we'll get to the end. So I've been told to start off by talking about Beauty and the Beast. And I did a post about this some time ago on my Instagram. And it's come up again. And it keeps coming to my mind. And I think that the story of Belle and the Beast is actually a really relevant story, and that was my Disney princess in the 90s. I was Belle. That was the first Disney that I ever went to at the cinema, so I don't know whether that seems relevant for my journey, but seeing the good in the Beast, I suppose it is actually. So yeah, I've been asked to bring that up and just sort of discuss who the Beast really is and who Belle was, because if you look at the story of Belle, like especially depicted in the original Disney, she's depicted as a very intelligent lady, a very compassionate lady, a very caring. She's speaking to the animals like lots of the other Disney princesses. Well, she's not actually a princess, is she, Belle? But sorry, I'm just thinking about her yellow dress. Random. Yeah, so depicted as like a very intelligent lady, very compassionate. She's curious, very brave, and if we start undressing who the Beast really was, we don't actually get a lot of backstory from the Beast at all about what he went through to become the Beast, other than that he was very self-centered and very, very rich, because he was obviously the prince. And I just feel like this is such a popular narrative around this. It's going to take me a little bit to unpack this, but when someone is the Beast, as in like a bad person, or does something wrong, or acts in a certain way that society doesn't deem as being right, or expresses challenging behaviour, or behaviour that upsets us or makes us feel uncomfortable, we're not really bothered about how that person got to that point. Like the Beast, he just, the storyline starts as him 4:44 on the clock. The storyline starts him literally just opening the door to the old crone lady, to the witch, and obviously he he acts very rude to her. We don't get to hear about why he got to be that sort of person. I mean, it's, to me, I would say it's pretty standard that he probably had all the money in the world but no love in the world kind of scenario. That's how I squeeze it down to a nutshell, and made him into, a very narcissistic, very superficial person, that he probably received no affection and attention from his family, other than buying him things and leaving him to his own devices, and probably was cared for by help. That's the storyline that I put to the beast. That's what made him horrible. But the good person in the storyline, we get her, a lot of her backstory. You get to see how she lives her life. You get to see what she's interested in, her hobbies. You get to meet her dad. You sort of get a lot more of who she is as a person, and how she's turned out the way that she has. She's very compassionate to her dad. She's looked after her dad. She's probably lost her mum. We don't understand how her mum passed away, or went away. And we how can I say? We concentrate on that narrative because that is the good person. Like the baddie just comes in, that's how they have always been. And it's like, to me, I would have been better. She saw, there's a really good scene where she lifts her eyebrow at him, as if to say, I'm not scared of you, I see past all that sort of, shouting and screaming and losing your temper kind of stuff. And she could see past all of that. She was, obviously she was scared to lose her freedom, but she wasn't scared of the beast. She stood up to him. She put herself over her dad to stay with him. She was incredibly brave in the story. And I sort of feel the need to undress why she is so brave about it. She can see past the rage, the way that he looks, the behaviour that he's displaying to the outside world. She can see past all that, and that's the reason why she helps him and she gives him a chance. And obviously, when he goes to save her, he uses this rage, he uses the power of the beast to save her. So, and there's so many narratives in the Beauty and the Beast that I absolutely love, and I love the way that they depict it, because it's true. The beast, for me, is inside every single one of us. It's definitely inside me, and it definitely drives me. My beast used to be my temper, and I still have a temper, and I gladly admit that I have a temper, and it's fueled by passion and mainly frustration. And I hate injustice. I hate it. It makes me the angriest person on the planet. But I have learned over the years to channel it, and this is what I think that the beast was sort of showing when he was saving Belle, was that, I have this anger, I have this power, but I can turn it into protection, and I think this is where I'm coming round the houses now. This is, for me, the way that masculine energy has become so broken. And you do see this in a lot of women as well, but obviously it is most common in men. When men tap into this beast mode, and I don't mean like powerlifting, that can come later. When they tap into the beast mode and they become people that we don't deem as being acceptable in society, i.e. lashing out, hitting people, aggression, attacking people, attacking their partners, abusive behaviour, manipulation, financial control, all these kinds of things. This is beast mode and this is control. And they don't, what I would like to get across in this video is they don't just wake up like that. They're not born like that. They don't just suddenly pop out of bed one morning and say, I am the beast. That's not how it happens. They don't just go to the door and some woman hands them something, hands them a rose that makes them turn into the beast. That doesn't happen. That is the fairy tale of the Beauty and the Beast. What actually happens is a series of events. There's relationships with parents, peers, with society that actually gets them to that point. No man wakes up on a morning and suddenly snaps into, I'm going to smack my wife today. That's not what happens. And I mean this from the other point of view as well. No woman just wakes up and says, I'm going to attack my partner today. That's not what happens. It's a long process of storylines and narratives that build the beast. And I know, and I can speak very openly about my experiences and why I became so incredibly angry with myself and my world around me, was all internal. And I've been asked to speak about a couple of guys that I dated, and I'm not going to say names, and this is like way in the past. But I can hands down say that every single man that I have dated, every single one has had suppressed emotions. Every single one of them. And every single one of them has been a very intelligent, emotional, intuitive, powerful person. Every single one of them. But they haven't and have never been taught how to use those powers. And every single one of those men have been abusive in some way and controlling. And there's a few reasons why I was completely on the same vibration as these people. I was just as hurt as what they were, and that's why we were bonding together at that time. And also because we were giving each other lessons, and then later in life I feel like I've attracted the same kind of men for healing. Or I don't know whether that was the reason why I was being attracted to them then, but anyway, it doesn't really matter. Every single I've thought about this so much, and I've actually started documenting it down. Patterns in behaviours, patterns in how we got together, patterns in the deterioration of the relationships. Like, it's so blatantly obvious that there are patterns in behaviour with the same the same narratives going through these men's subconscious. And one of my gifts is that I can how can I say it? I can read your subconscious. Like the so in how can I say it? Like, Belle could see the good in the beast because she could see through the person that he was showing to the outside world. She could see through the beast to the person that was underneath. And that is who she was seeing. And that's how I see people. The behaviours and person that they show on the outside is not actually who they are on the inside. And being round these men and seeing so blatantly that they are not this angry, resentful, manipulative, aggressive, you know, I'm larger than life kind of men, that they are in fact really, really tapped into their emotions and extremely intelligent and forward thinking and funny and incredibly compassionate and caring individuals, but have never been given the chance, the choice, or the understanding to be able to use these gifts. So therefore have completely suppressed their emotions, their empathy, their compassion, their tears. All these big emotions have completely been suppressed over the years, and therefore have made them angry and resentful and aggressive. And how can I say it? When someone has to keep suppressing the way that they actually feel, it makes them numb. And when they get this feeling that they are struggling or that they are upset because they've had to suppress it for so long and not deal with it or not open it up to the outside world, they have learned to suppress that emotion. So literally every time that emotion comes up, say for example that they're scared, if they've been told that they're not allowed to be scared, that there's nothing to be scared of, stop crying, these kind of things, whenever they do get scared about a situation, the way that they would actually handle it is by suppressing it, and in turn it would make them extremely angry. So just to give you an example of this, if a man was actually scared that he was going to lose his partner, or that he was losing trust in his partner, or he was scared that, or feeling insecure that his partner was going to leave him, or worrying in some way, he wouldn't be able to articulate and tell that his partner how he would feel. Instead, he would start getting angry because he couldn't articulate himself, because he had no practice in that. This is not a taught behaviour, not a learnt behaviour. So it would become aggression, it would become throwing things, it would become a manipulation. So when this person was moving further away from him, he would try to manipulate her to get her back, instead of actually saying how he really felt about the situation. And that's just one example. There's thousands of examples to go at. But under all this big beast behaviour is actually the prince that's not been taught how to look after himself, or to articulate himself, or how to voice himself. Like, these men walking around in full-on beast mode all the time, every single one of them, there's a prince in there. I mean, I say this probably in every single video. I don't believe in bad people. I don't believe in bad people. I don't believe that people are bad. And I'll just finish off by the video by saying this. I've been told I've got to read you a piece of my book as well. So when a baby's crying, what we believe is the baby is crying because it needs something. Yeah, that's why a baby would cry. So we go around the house, we change the nappy, we feed them, we go through the list of things, and then once the baby is okay again, crying stops. When the baby gets to a toddler's crying, toddler's screaming, it's like, no, stop, don't do that now, like you've been fed, you've done this, you've blah, blah, you've had all these things. And then we decide, it gets to a certain point that toddler is crying or getting upset for no reason. We've decided that already. This is a society thing. When a toddler falls over, you're all right. There's nothing to worry about. You haven't hurt yourself. When a toddler's crying about coming away from the park, it's, time's up, come back. You're not allowed to be upset about this. You can't be disappointed that you're going home now. You're making a fuss. Once that toddler gets to a child, 5, 6 years old, that child has already learnt to start suppressing their emotions. They're not allowed to be disappointed. They're not allowed to talk back to you. They're not allowed to say no. They're not allowed to say, no, I don't want to go there. They're not allowed to say, no, I don't want to eat that. They're not allowed to say, I don't want to sit in this trolley. I don't want to go into my car seat. I don't want to go and see Granny. I want to play with my toys. And that's just as a child. So by the time they get to a teen, and this is for girls and for boys, I'm not just talking for men. Yes, for girls and for boys. Once that child has got to a teenager, can you imagine how many emotions have been suppressed? How many times that they've tried to voice their opinions and we haven't been there to hear them? Or take them on board? And I think it is easier for being a woman to express how you feel because you have your friends. Even if your parents are not really that fantastic about listening to you, as a woman, you do always have a mate that you could confide in. For boys, it's not the same because society deems that these big emotions and being upset and crying and all these kind of things is not deemed to be right. And I know that society has opened up its doors to emotional regulation and things like this, but not for men of the past. It's still such a humongous stigma. And realistically, as partners, as wives, as sisters, are we giving the men in our lives the opportunity to be really vulnerable? I don't think that we are. Are we really embodying Belle? I think it's really, really important for us to take a step back and realise and understand that big emotions, and especially anger and aggression, is actually I just want to bring up a toddler. I don't understand the disjointedness between an adult and a toddler. The psychology is just the same. A toddler will lash out at you and shout at you and scream at you because they're not happy. Why is an adult not the same? The need is still exactly the same, whether you're 2 or whether you're 22 or 42. let me just read this because it's getting a bit long and I want to go and sort out my plants. It's opened at a different page. Oh, this is perfect. So get this book, it's amazing. Verse 53, it says, "Not yet on the way. Those who have the smallest grain of wisdom would want to walk the simple path of the great integrity. Their only fear would be to go astray. Indeed, there is a good reason to fear when most of the world is piled into two wagons racing towards each other on a single lane road. In one overcrowded wagon is the vast majority who live in weedy fields with empty granaries. In the other wagon are those whose garments are opulently embroidered. They gorge themselves on rich foods far beyond their appetites and guzzle inebriating drinks far beyond their thirst. They accumulate wealth even beyond their, I don't know how to say that word, avarice. This is my dyslexic brain coming out now. Beyond their cravings, while armed to the teeth against their starving neighbours. Surely such feverish degradation couldn't be the way to the great integration." Oh wow, let me just read this on the back of the page. What could be more contradiction, sorry, I'm looking at it like completely different words. What could be more in contradiction to the great integrity than our civilizations, which for the past few thousand years have been divided into the overprivileged and the underprivileged, with these inequities maintained by armed police, courts, prisons, called our system of justice. The last line, which acknowledges the impossibility of such a deprived way of life ever leading to the great integrity, is rhymed out of deference to the original, which makes a pun of the word Tao, which in both the Chinese word for the great integrity as well as the word for thievery, with both meaning of Tao utilising the same intonation, the fourth tone. I love this book. Excuse my terrible reading. Not bad for a dyslexic person though. Get the book. I'll leave that with you.